The 2025 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by Sunbet, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, VAG Automotive Centurion, and EBC Brakes.
Round 9 of the Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup made its way out to Dalmas in Mpumalanga, and of course the famous Red Star Raceway for the final round of the ZX10 Masters Cup for 2025. It's been an incredible season. Unfortunately though, this Friday has not dawned on us in the way that we were hoping for the final round. Yes, extremely tricky conditions are expected throughout the day here at Red Star Raceway. And as everybody moves out the training centre, including a couple of 600 and 1000cc riders who have joined us as part of the track day initiative here, and a couple of classic riders too, you can see it was going to be exceptionally difficult conditions all afternoon. And throughout the day, it was basically rain on and off. But as they always say in motorcycle racing, the only way to learn to ride in the rain is to ride in the rain. And that's why Keith Agliotti decided to go and tempt fate and get a couple of laps in on those magnificent wet weather Bridgestones. A couple of other riders joined him as well, but they were few and far between. And not everybody was willing to risk the opportunity to get out on circuit and see what conditions were going to be like. Yes, the rain was also expected to stay all through the weekend. So these vital laps that the likes of Hein McMahon and Agliotti and a couple of other riders that decided to get out there, including the 166 of Reggie Seal and Tyre Piper joining them as well, well, they'd be lucky to get those extra laps in under the tricky conditions. And it may pay dividend if it turns out to be a wet race day. The King decided to go out as well. Yes, King Clinsella, or Evil Knievel as we like to call him. He decided to go out there, but he's been out in wet weather conditions on numerous occasions in his national championship and international career as well. Zitzman, I'm not quite sure if Nico's had as much experience in the rain, but as I said, to learn to ride in the rain, you've got to get out there, and that's not a bad effort. In qualifying, which happened on the Saturday in dry conditions, fortunately, Clinsella was quickest ahead of Damien Purificati and Keith Agliotti, so it was Class A 1, 2 and 3, and make that 4 with Hein McMahon on the second row. Henk Kruger and Byron Rothquell, and Henk Kruger led up the Class B challenge. That was Reggie Seal, Ian Harwood and Tyre Piper, and the last row was Galgocci and Nico Zitzman. As I mentioned, it was awesome to see the classic boys coming out to be part and parcel of the event and joining some of the track day riders as an initiative put together by Red Star and the ZX10 Masters Cup competitors. The club saying to the Red Star Club, come and join us for a great day's racing. And you can see a couple of other machines out there. Really awesome to see these guys getting an opportunity to be up close and personal with arguably SA's premier motorcycle racing championship. And they came out in their droves, which was good to see, putting on a very good show in the dry conditions. And the likes of the usual contenders in each of their classes were out in full force and looking forward to a good day's racing. It's great to see some of the old friends of the ZX10 Masters Cup joining us as well, because a lot of these guys have moved on from ZX10 Masters Cup into the Classics, or they're still racing in both. And a couple of guys getting an opportunity to do just that. The family affair continues as always in the ZX10 Masters Cup, and it is fantastic to see the camaraderie and the family friendships that have been made throughout the season. And yes, looking forward to a good fight on track, I'm sure. We'll see whether young Rothquell at some point in time climbs on board and does what his mom and his dad have both done on motorcycles. Harwood is looking good. Let's have a quick chat to him.
Ian Harwood, we're here at Red Star Raceway for the finale of 2025 for the Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. Yesterday's weather was not so great, let's put it that way. This morning was mostly dry. How are track conditions out there?
Track conditions this morning actually surprisingly very good, except for turn 5, which has a little bit of a river flowing across it, which is hampering us up a little bit. I reckon it's probably taken a second and a half, possibly 2 seconds off a lap time. But other than that, the track is spot on. It's clean, it's neat, it's dry, track's good. We just got to get out there and deal with it.
There we go. So are you praying for a bit of dry weather or a bit of rain?
I want dry. I don't like the rain.
Well, there we go.
I had enough rain yesterday.
So I'm going to go do a rain dance now and hope it rains.
No, please don't do that, because then you're going to take your shirt off and that's going to get real nasty.
Real nasty. There we go. Well, best of luck. And yeah, put on 2 wheels.
We'll give it our best shot. Thank you.
Sean Portman, was that a punt for Dave Peterson by any chance there? I think it might have been, hey? But anyway, yes, it is great to see them up on 2 wheels as always. That's how motorcycles should be. Some of them get up onto 1 wheel as well. Some of them get up onto no wheels, depending on where they are. Around the circuits that we've been to, we've seen some airtime action from a lot of these riders, and they're looking forward to a great battle here today. As we mentioned, Sella will be the man to catch. He's not been betted every single time he's climbed on board a motorcycle this year. He's missed a couple of rounds, but even with that, still wrapped up the overall championship and Class A for 2025 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. Looks like we are almost ready to go. It's eyes on the prize time. The visor's about to come down. And final check there from the teams and supporters before they roll out for race 1 of Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup here at Red Star Raceway. Let's get into race 1's highlights now. As Stella rolls up to the line, he's got his closest rival, the man who's basically giving him the best run for his money all season long, in Damien Purificati. Massive advances forward from Purificati's point of view. He's not too far off the back end of the king of the ZX10 Cup in Evil Knievel himself. The second row also looking pretty tasty there. Hein McMahon, I think, will be looking to get a little bit higher up than what he did in qualifying. It was a magnificent qualifying there from Agliotti to outgun the K9 law enforcement bike. But let's see what happens now as they get off the line. Harwood a little bit slow off the line there, but he gets going eventually and heads down towards turn 1. And this way around on the circuit, of course, turn 1 would be Bridgestone corner. It's the chicane that they go into. We go on board here with Henk Kruger a bit further back in the pack as he heads down towards that famous chicane that Bridgestone sponsors here at Red Star Raceway. I beg your pardon. As they go in there, but you can see the Ridgeway man is what I was talking about, looking for an opportunity to get off the line nasty, and that's exactly what Agliotti did, staying there with Purificati. Looks like a bit of a move on here, almost instantaneously coming from the 37 of Byron Rothko as they head down towards the very tricky bottom end of this very long straight. It's almost a kilometre long straight down the N12 highway. Pitch it into a left-hander. It's downhill, slightly cambered towards you, and then it breaks away slightly away from you as you exit and head towards the bottom end of the dog bone. And this dog bone section is very tricky on any form of motorsport, and particularly on a two-wheeler. But you can see Purificati loving life here at a track that he's spent lots of time at. Kinsella on a few occasions has been here too, but he took a bit of a sabbatical for a while there when the Nationals didn't come here for a while. And of course he's also spent a huge amount of time alongside yours truly and a whole bunch of riders that are on the field and on the track today in some of the 24-hour and endurance races that used to happen in the early 15s and 16s and 17s of the 20th century. So awesome stuff there to see these riders in full flight. As they come out of the dog bone, they go into the short straight. It's a hairpin corner that goes down to second gear, and then it's everything you got with a short blast up a little shorter straightaway towards the tricky infield section. Tyron Piper looks like he might have picked up a slight technical issue there. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. He's come in. Alfie's helping him out there by the looks of things, and hopefully he can get him back on track. But how's this battle out front? I mentioned it at the start that Purificati's had massive advances forward to try and close that gap down between himself and Kinsella, and it seems to be paying off nicely. Graham Van Berdal, not quite where he wants to be. He'd like to be fighting for third place, but currently down in the 4th and 5th place battle, and he's there with Hein McMahon. So GVBD, quite on the kind of pace that he'd like to be here for this final round, I'm sure. Take nothing away from these two. Great little battle going on for the top end of the field and the top of Class A. They come to complete another lap. Purificati is literally on the tailpiece of that King Price insurance machine out front. This is the battle for 4th, and it's number 4 ahead of the 41. And it looks like there's going to be a little change up there because Graham Van Berdal has got some work to do now to get through on Hein McMahon if he wants it. At this point in time, we've got Class A 1, 2, 3, and 4. Class B in 5th place with Van Berdal leading out the Class B battle ahead of Henk Kruger and Reggie Seal. So the fight is on here, and it's going to be an epic one, as always, in ZX10 Masters Cup as they head down the first part of that long straightaway alongside the highway, literally parallel to the highway that runs between Johannesburg and Emasheleni, which of course was the old Witbank. Heading on to the brakes now. They've got this all sorted out. This looks like they have. Reggie Seal closing the gap down there ever so slightly on Rothwell. Harwood not quite with them. I'm sure he would have liked a slightly better start. Didn't quite get off the line. I'm sure that Ian Harwood will be looking to change that up for the second one. There's Purificati trying to catch the gap there and close that gap down. Possibly put a bit of pressure onto Sella. See if he can find some kind of chink in that gold armour. It's not easy to do that. Not when Sella's in the form that he's been in all season long. And as I said, every time he's thrown a leg over the motorcycle, he has not been bettered in this class. So he's a tough man. Really coming out of the hairpin there. That's great to see. Putting everything in it and not leaving anything behind. That's the way that Kinsella rides. For the back, battle continues, as you said there. A nice little battle there between Rothko, Seal and Henk Kruger. Henk Kruger just slightly up the road there from them. And then a bit behind that, you've got Tyron Piper He looks like he might have got back on track. And look out for Steve Golgocci and Nico Zitzman. They're at the back of the pack. There is Zitzman. And looking pretty tasty out there, actually. He's got, I think that's Harwood on his tail by the looks of it. So the fight there starting to close in ever so slightly and turning into a bit of a four-way battle. We've got the two leaders. Then the three-man all on his own is Agliotti. He's kind of all by himself. Behind that, it's Han McMahon and GVBD. And then two groups of riders that have got in together and starting to have a bit of a fight of their own there. Harwood through, moving his way up nicely there. That's good ride there from him. Let's see what happens now. Sella comes to the line. Completes another lap. He's now pulled the margin. He's got away from Damien Purificotti. So Purificotti was able to stay there for a couple of laps. Just doesn't seem to have the ability to stay on that same lap time, those hot laps that are coming in. And the hot laps are like 155. A 155.1 was Sellers and a 155.8 was Damien Purificotti. So getting within a 7/10 of a second there of the man who was king of the sport for the last 2 years and has been king of South African superbike racing for a long time is a magnificent effort there from Purificotti. So keep an eye out on him for 2026. I think we may see a slightly better and more fired up man heading into 2026 and possibly looking to give Seller a bit more of a run for his money. Harwood at the back, still fighting hard. Great little battle there between him and Nico Zitzman. And just looking down the road to Mr. I know Van Breda is still there, looking for a chance now to find a way past on the 4x of Han McMahon. Great fight there between the two of them. Change of surface flag. It's been out on a few occasions, and it's because we do still have a couple of rivers running over certain sections of the track. Just warning the riders that if they do come around, make sure that the bike is upright. Try not to go through there when the bike's banked over, because you'll fall over, and that's not what you want to be doing around this circuit, I can tell you. There are lots of runoff, of course, for motorcycles around Red Star, but you definitely want to try and keep it upright. And that's exactly what Seller's doing as he heads up towards the garage and towards the tricky infield section. It's 5 corners that literally go back to back, almost 180. The one, in fact, is over 180-degree hairpin corners. And sometimes you actually get caught out by it. If you're not used to racing here at Red Star Raceway, some of the riders come off the circuit and they start to complain about the fact that all the corners look the same, but we all know that they are slightly different from each other. And once you get used to the track and used to this purpose-built motorcycle racing track, then you know that you're in for a great ride. The late great Jacques Van Wijngaard, of course, built this circuit for his son when no one would allow him to go and race. And then from there on, it became a private circuit only. Eventually, we managed to talk him into opening it up to everybody else, and it's now gone from not only two-wheeled racing, but to all forms of motorsport here at Red Star Raceway. And it certainly is a magnificent facility that they provide for us here to go and race at throughout the season, on the Extreme Festival of Motorsport, and when the ZX10s come on their own, and when all the other categories arrive at this track as well. Don't think there's going to be an answer here. This man certainly seems to know exactly what to do on a motorcycle to keep it upright, to keep it at the front end, and it looks like it's going to be another plain sailing adventure for that King Price and Liqui Kawasaki. The PS Brandon man, Kinsella, out front ahead of Damien Purificotti. Behind him, it's the Ridgeway man, and that is a magnificent ride coming from Keith Agliotti. Agliotti getting into the 2-minute bracket. 2-minute dead from him on his fastest lap out there. Fighting with Byron Rothwell and Henk Kruger. It's not too far behind them. And McMahon, I think I just caught a glimpse of him. Has he got one on his own? So I'm going to keep an eye on that. And Steve Cannon just giving the ball to Trent to say, yep, everything's going according to plan for now. And there we go. We go back to that little battle on McMahon and Van Breda. In fact, Van Breda's got through on McMahon. So Van Breda's got through on Han McMahon. That's why I got caught out ever so slightly there. It looked like we'd lost Van Breda, but he's actually got ahead of Han McMahon. So a little change up there for 4th place. The two of them trying to close down on 3rd place is Keith Agliotti. And he's probably one of the best rides we've seen out of Agliotti in a long time. And to see that from that man who rides for the Ridgeway Racing Team, and of course also for EBC Brakes, one of our main sponsors. The VAG team, of course, doing a superb job. Their top man is not here this weekend, but he's still had a magnificent season. And we've got to say a massive thanks, of course, to all of our sponsors that have been involved in this category for 2025. It's been a really epic run of ZX10 Masters Cup. So Stella continues on his way. A couple of laps still to go, trying to wrap things up here at Red Star Raceway for round 9. And looking for a chance now to possibly be still the man to beat in this class. And the unbeaten record is still up for grabs here for Kinsella. It's magnificent. The only time he has been beaten is when he didn't arrive at a racetrack, and there was only a few occasions throughout the season. But every single time he's been in a race, he has not been better, and it looks like it's going to be exactly the same here for the rest of the proceedings for this race 1 of round 9 of the ZX10 Masters Cup. Nice little slow-mo shot there of him coming out and onto the short straightaway. Coming up into those tricky corners I was just mentioning. This is the right-hander. It's normally turn number 3. This is, of course, now turn 10 as they go the other way around. You can see just on the left-hand side there, that's the kart circuit that they built here at Red Star Raceway as well. So expanding their horizons at the Red Star to ensure that all forms of motorsport can come and play here. And it is a magnificent playground, that is for sure. So Sella across the line, and it's for the checkered flag. Wrapping it up nicely and getting the job done in terms of race number 1. In the bag, done and dusted. There'll be some happy riders out on track as well, most of them staying upright and avoiding the tricky conditions that were out there with the small little rivers that were running on certain parts of the track. Little high five and clap there from Ian Harwood. Harwood coming through for a top 10. 9th place for him, that's decent stuff. So Sella takes Class A ahead of Purificati and Agliotti. Class B goes to Henk Kruger. Reggie Seal in 4th place, and Steve Galgocci take the top 3 in Class B, with Van Berdar crashing out in the late stages there. Class C was all about Ian Harwood on his own sim and getting the victory there for Class C. Great effort there for race number 1. With the winning comes the spoils, and there are a couple of boys who are going to be spoilt as they come back into the Parc Fermé area. This man particularly, after one of the best rides we've seen out of him in a long time. Great to see Agliotti on the overall podium and getting 3rd in Class A as well. There's his beautiful wife giving him a big hug and a kiss to say congratulations. There'll be a lot of those going down. I'm not quite sure if Steve Cannon's going to give Clint a kiss, but needless to say, there'll be a high five from the two of them after a magnificent run from the man who took the overall win. A couple of guys who had some great battles out there also giving some high fives. Steve Galgocci will be pretty happy with that, finishing up in 8th place overall for him. And you can see there just a little bit of disappointment from Damien Purificati, as he said his pace died. Couldn't quite keep up with the pace that Sella was setting at the front end. Let's chat with Keith for 3rd place.
Keith Agliotti, 3rd place.
Very happy.
Hey, that was a good race.
Just lucky behind me the whole time.
The whole
It
time.
was in my head and it wouldn't go away.
Graham started catching you. Unfortunately, it looked like he crashed there.
Yeah.
But still a
I
fantastic
didn't know. I knew that they were both going to be behind me and they were both going to try, and I just kept pushing my brake markers later and later. Can actually see now I've bottomed that front fork out. But yeah, happy with the result.
There we go. The EBC Brakes did their job there, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Well done. A fantastic 3rd place.
Thank you.
It certainly was, Sean. A great effort there from Damien Purificati as well to stay with Sella initially. Let's see what happens now in race number 2. See the guys just chatting about the little battles that they've had out on track and sharing those battle stories with the pit crew, wives, friends and family that are here to support them. It's fantastic, the camaraderie that is amongst these riders and amongst the friends and fans and family that join us. Yeah, the hooter still works there. I'd like to hear that. I would just say, out of my way, I want to get back to my pit box and get something cool into me, because yes, it has been muggy conditions. And there you go, Clint Sella getting a big surprise as well. Well done to Keith. It's awesome to see. High fives from Slucky as well. He didn't catch him today, but let's see what happens in race number 2 as we'll pick up on that action. But before we get into that action, of course, we did have a rider that had a bit of a problem here in race number 1. And we managed to catch up with Graham Van Berdar to find out exactly what went down.
Graham from Berdar, your bike is loaded in the van. Not a very good race 1 for you here of round 9 of the 2025 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. How was it for you?
Look, it wasn't great. We qualified this morning in a little bit of, it was wet through one or two of the turns. So it did very easy. We only qualified 7th. Got up to, I think it was 4th, just behind Keith. And wasn't really, didn't feel like I'm pushing it. The lap times weren't what I've done before. So I thought I was going okay. And going through the fast sweep at the end of the main straight, the front end just tucked and let go. Yeah, the bike's a bit of a mess and I'm okay. So yeah, I guess we're lucky.
Well, at least you relatively A-okay. So, you rebuild, bounce back, come back stronger for 2026.
Yeah, maybe. Still in the pipeline. We'll see what's going to happen for next year. But at least, yeah, like you said, the bike's bad, but I'm in one piece, and that's the main thing.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
The 2025 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by Sunbet, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, VAG Automotive Centre Centurion, and EBC Brakes.